Good morning, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am the Badass Buddha, Dr. Lori Monaco, and coming to you from a dreary southern Connecticut. I am the CEO of Align Yourself Inc. I'm a chiropractic physician, authenticity teacher, speaker, and coach, and weight loss specialist. So good morning.
Good morning. You look very professional with your blazer and your pearls.
Oh my goodness. I should put glasses on. Look like a librarian.
There you go.
Okay.
What? Good morning, mi gente. I am La Margarita coming to you from also dreary Connecticut, southern Connecticut. I don't know. It's supposed to be warm. It gets cold.
Yes.
I am your writer, your author, your artist, your life coach. I am your friend, magically orgasmic, gladiator guru. Namaste and welcome for coming this morning and joining us. Wepa!
The gladiator guru, magically orgasmic. Yes, yes, yes. And good morning. So Luis Sanchez is the first one on, making
Good
sure
morning,
you're
Luis.
running late, ladies. That was nice. You're running late. And Kimberly, good morning. And Chenille, good morning. So this is a fabulous morning as people come on. And this is going to be a fabulous week for conversations. Not that any of them are not fabulous, but today's conversation is really kind of a continuation of Thursday's conversation, because we're going to be really talking more in depth about getting to know ourselves and honoring ourselves and doing things for ourselves and making changes. And then on Thursday, we're going to have Karen Sammer on talking about heart disease in women and, signs and why it gets overlooked, and especially specifically for women of color, how there's an imbalance with treatment and being overlooked and being overlooked. And, that's a conversation that we actually started with Byron Roquemore when we were talking about mental health and the disparity between individual, the Caucasian counterparts and then women of color, and how differently they're treated with, and it's actually not even just women, it's men or women. Where
it's just people, it's people of color.
Yes.
Yeah. But women suffer more for some reason. I remember the conversation we had with Karen, and I'm so excited, and she's so excited. And she was so like she had to go through what she went through to understand what others go through.
Yes.
So I think stay tuned for that one. That one is going to be amazing because it speaks volumes to all of us women, and then who are second-class citizens, and then it speaks like fold the volume to us women of color who are second class to the second class citizens. So we way down. So we need to rise up, arming ourselves with knowledge, sabiduria, and knowing how to speak for ourselves, especially at the medical offices. Because we tend to fear the man in the white suit. He's just a man with the white jacket on. Why don't you wear one when you go to the doctors? Wear a white jacket so that when you're looking at this doctor who's only going to spend like 7 minutes with you the whole time you're waiting somewhere for him, wear something white, wear a white jacket, wear a white blazer, so that when you're sitting across from them, in your mind, you're equal. You're not down here and you're going to believe everything they tell you up here.
Correct.
That's I think that we need to train our brains and control that fear by that. Because how many people have gotten afraid of a man coming down the hall in a white jacket?
Yeah, or a woman.
Remember when the beepers were there? The doctors had the beepers. We thought they were so important because they had beepers and before anybody else did. And I just think that's what it is. It's just calming the mind, not controlling your mind. It's calming the mind. It's saying, okay, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna just listen. So I know somebody who said that their father got the vaccine and he wasn't even aware that it was a vaccine. He said the doctor was talking and saying it's important for the vaccine, and he thought it was something else because it wasn't explained right, and he got his first shot without even realizing in his mind because he was so nervous being in the doctors. Okay, that's it. Stay tuned for Thursday because Karen is awesome.
And speaking of beepers, I used to have a beeper, and the only time it was ever called was when I called it myself. I would position it just right in my pocket, and then I would just call myself. I'd be like, that's nice.
Put it between your legs and it vibrated. when you were somewhere. Yeah. And just be like, hey.
Whoa, those things really vibrated too. They weren't even no joke.
Yes, good morning. Let's say good morning. What I see on my screen is good morning, Janet, Kimberly. Yep. Good morning, Nicole Young. Yes, God is the only one dressed in white that we need to fear and love.
Linda McBee, good morning.
I can't see them. Why can't I see them?
Scroll,
I can't
baby,
even scroll. I can't.
You're not able
Hold on. I am now. I don't know why it was stuck. Oh, wow. There's a lot. You answered a lot back already, too. Lewis, good morning.
I'm trying to stay on top of it because I was so behind the other day.
Look at Lewis. I am your spiritual healer and your king, Papi Chula. Oh, he's on a roll today. Kimberly, you better put those straps to your man.
And my cousin Anna. Good morning, Anna. I love when Anna comes on. I was thinking about this the other day. It's like most of the people that come on are if it was not for Gladiator Guru and her tribe of people following her, this is what's built up Viva, honest and truly. Slowly my peeps come on, but and I'm so grateful that they do. But I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, geez, really that your followers have been so fabulous with really coming on and being consistent too. So, but everybody, we're just grateful that you're here, and we really do want you to spread the word because we love what we do, and we have been seeing the numbers climb. We're very, very appreciative of it. We've been watching the video views are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We've had numerous people subscribe to the YouTube channel, so we're thrilled about that. We're at like 60 now, I think. Woo, 60 people. We want to be at 60,000, but we're getting there, right?
I love your mindset because anybody else would be like, can't believe we're only at 60 and we already celebrated our 100th episode and we're going on our 1 year and we only have 60, but the YouTube came later. But the mindset to say, woohoo, we're already at 60, that is, we're millionaires with that type of mindset. Because we are only at 60 right now, but wow, we're at 60. So celebrate the women of Viva.
More than it's 59 more than we were at one time.
Yeah,
it's 60 more than we were when we started. Actually, no, when we started, we both signed in, so we both subscribed to our channel. So we had two right off the cuff. So I guess we cheated a little bit. So
that's not cheating. That's believing. That's believing.
58 more than when we started. How's that? 58 more. All right.
That is awesome.
And everybody keeps coming. Alicia's on. Aritza's on.
Buenos dias, mi familia.
There's a lot of you. There's a lot of you.
Yes. Because Chanel, I just say good morning, Chanel. Is Tiffany Bryan on and Michelle?
Tiffany's not on yet. So did I put the wrong name? I might have typed in.
Michelle Houston, good morning, beautiful tribe. Back at you. Our tribe is beautiful for all of you that are in it and show up every Tuesday and Thursday. That's the beauty of the tribe. Linda McBee, buenos dias. I think I got everybody. Alicia. Okay.
Coffee. Mantras. Intentions. What do you want to do first? Oh, love. Look at her. Love. Oh, show them your hair too.
And my big sweater because I'm cold. But yeah, this is my big. It feels like a blanket. It's the type of material like a blanket.
Good morning, Francia. Francia's on. She just also, remember, she always likes an excuse to touch her breasts. So that was breast touch.
Hey, if not me, who?
Well, right. I mean, I'm sure you could get takers. What are you talking about?
No.
Anybody can go. Anybody who wants it?
Anybody, come touch on me. Good morning, my beautiful sister. Iritza said morning, push, Francia.
All right. Yeah. So, what do we want to do first? Do we want to talk coffee for a few minutes? Do we want to do the intention and the mantra first? What do you want to do?
Coffee. Let's, you said coffee. Let's just do coffee. Why keep flip-flopping? Café. Sin leche. Little bit of creamer for slipping and sliding. But yes, here is cafe with my monk fruit. And I am drinking Cafe Bustelo. Cafe Bustelo. And yeah, it's my first cup, so it's delicious. It is delicious.
Wonderful.
Café Bustelo, el sabor rico. Uh-huh. Your turn.
Nice. So
Your turn.
I actually got a new brand today, and I'm drinking this one. And this one is actually really good. It's
From
really
where?
it's it says Coffee Red Barn Roasters, New England.
Yeah, I think I stood.
Massachusetts.
Okay. All right.
Whole bean, and this one's the organic and South American coffee. So the beans, it's really, really good. Like I'm actually very pleasantly surprised. Sometimes it's bitter. I did put, what you recommend. I put a little bit of salt. I've been doing that anyway, and some cloves. And
Ooh.
then I've got like a little sinus thing going on. So my coffee today has a little bit of honey and some turmeric and some cayenne pepper and some ginger, because this is what I usually do when I start to feel something coming on, because I don't need it to get any further. So usually I drink it in a tea, and I'm like, no, I'll have it in the coffee today.
Yeah, it's magical when you add healing herbs to your coffee and your tea, because you're bringing it. So why not enjoy it when you're taking it, instead of punishing yourself as a medicine? So yes, so
Iritza says, love your hair, Margarita.
oh yes, because Iritza is my hairdresser.
That's
Has
right.
been since what, Beatty? Like, you've been my constant hairdresser that I would travel back and forth to Florida just for her to do my hair. Since I was 21. Since I was 21.
Show the side. No, not
So
that side.
This is my hair here, and then
there. That's awesome. I love it.
So this, we need one more shade so that it's completely white. And then once that patch of gray starts growing, then I'm gonna leave that white, and then everything else black. But for now, I love it. I love the look. It's clean. It's easy. And it took me way out of my comfort zone. And I think sometimes we just need to do that. Take a leap of faith in yourself and say, I like this. I like the way it looks in Pinterest. You see, if it has the same effect on me, and if it doesn't, oh, well, I could always do this. Look, I can always split it in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And voila, you can't see it.
That's right.
But why do that? Why do that? Not everybody likes my style. And that's okay. I like it. That's all that matters. I get to wear my big feather earrings and not have my hair falling in front of it. I'm good. I'm lovely. Why?
Nice.
Because I like to try new things. I like to feed my spirit with, like, oh my God, I did it. That was good, because then my spirit dances for me.
Wait, I wanna share something. I hit a milestone. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. See this? Can you read it?
No.
366 days later. I am officially in menopause. I don't need the period tracker anymore. I just kept it on to see, like, okay. And it was just so funny as it racked up the days, and I was like, oh, wait.
You need how many? How many days?
366. In order for you to be officially in menopause, you have to hit 12 months. Mm-hmm. So yesterday was the 12th, the 1 year anniversary of the last time. So it's official, folks. This is what menopause looks like. Well, don't judge right now, because I'm tired, and but normally when I'm going to do that, I'm going to get this like really hot pose, and I'm going to go, like, this is what menopause looks like. Do one of those things, and then like compare it to like my grandmother's picture when she was my age in menopause.
Look, that is the best thing. I have been.
Iritza says she thought I was pregnant. Please, Iritza. I have a 7-year-old. I don't need to have any more at that. Not at all.
Yeah, I have been. Welcome to the club. I've been in full menopause since August 2018. So I like it. I like it. Okay, so who goes first?
Me, the intention for today, it's very simple. So today's show is loving yourself and learning yourself. So I figured let's set the intention for today. So today I will love myself a little more, learn about myself a little more, and honor myself a little bit more. So today I will love myself a little bit more, learn about myself a little bit more, and honor myself a little bit more.
Namaste. Mine's is simple. Mindset is everything. The manner in which you speak to yourself matters. Mindset is everything. Rumi says, learn the alchemy of true human beings. Know the moment you accept what troubles you've been given, and the door will open. Mindset is everything.
Mindset is everything.
Namaste.
I love that. Mindset is everything, truly. That's actually what trumps us up most of the time. It's that belief that we don't, we're not good enough, we're not worthy enough. And that's what stomps us, or stops us, rather. Stomps us.
Stumps us.
Stumps us and stops us. And,
yes.
And it's something
it fucks us up. It just fucks us up.
It does. Let's be real. It fucks us up. And it's a matter of really, you have to reassure yourself all the time. You have to remind yourself all the time about that, because even on your, even those that have been actively transforming their lives, they have their moments where they question, and that's why, the more individuals that you hang out with that are on the path with you, because this is the reality. This is what happens when you wake up, when you actually pay attention to yourself and you love yourself and you start learning about yourself. You get this very aha moment. You wake up and you're like looking around going, holy shit, like, what is this? Like, what did I create here? Because that's what the reality is we created it. But if you're not at that level yet and say, I created it yet, to take the accountability, you're just like, where am I right now? Like, what? I didn't sign up for this. This is not how I thought my life would be. All the people around you will perpetuate that life that you created. So if you want to be better, you have to get with people that are going to support that. Doesn't mean that the people around you won't. It just means that you have to know that they might not. So as you better yourself, you find other people to hang out with that are making you higher, lifting you higher, pushing you higher, so that you get, keep transforming yourself, right? It's like that expression. They say that you don't be the smartest one in the room. If you're the smartest one in the room, you need to go into a different room, because then you get complacent, you get comfortable, you don't try anymore. So you want to be able to surround yourself with individuals who are going to uplift you, but also push you to the level that you could be. That's what this platform is for, right, Gladiator Guru? I mean, that's really what it's about. Oh, good morning, Susan. Hi, Susan. And Desiree is on. Good morning. Right? That's what this platform is about. It's about giving us the support to push ourselves, to be able to learn more about ourselves, to better ourselves. Right? What do you
think? Yes. I think that
I'm boring you? That sounds like I'm boring you.
No, because I've heard all that before, but I also believe in the other way, like the devil's advocate. I do believe everybody.
I've heard that all before. Yes, you were boring me.
No, not at all, not at all. But it's like that. Exactly what this platform is. It's to enhance and remind the tribe listening, and for us to listen to ourselves and the tribe when they give their opinions, and that's how we all uplift one another. That's what the whole circle of a tribe is. You're absolutely right. And I've heard recently a lot, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah, I've been saying that a lot lately too.
But I don't agree with it all the way. No, because if you're the smartest person in the room, first, why were you in the room in the first place? And is your assignment to be in that room so that you can help raise the others to a certain level? Then you move on to the next room to be with smarter people. Because if you're the smartest person in the room and you look around and you're like, oh, they're fucking idiots, let me go. Then when were you the fucking idiot that somebody took the time to help you rise to where you're at today? You understand? So when people say that, oh, if you're the smartest person in the room, leave. Well, then what if everybody walked out on you? Where would you be today? So I have a problem when people just really say that with so much conviction, not realizing that they're the idiot in the room most of the time.
You know, it's a metaphor, right? Like it means that it's not saying in the exact room. It means that, like,
I know exactly what it means.
Every day of your life, if you are only letting yourself be the smartest of your group, the wealthiest of your group, that's what it's saying. And it doesn't mean, and I don't think it necessarily means that you have to get rid of it like completely, because you're right. You can be the teacher, and being the teacher reaffirms it for yourself. Like it instills it within you.
No, absolutely. I know exactly what it means. But what I'm saying is so many people are just saying that phrase. I've been hearing that phrase coming out of people that I look at them and I'm like, but I've always known you as the idiot savant, and I've never walked out of any room you were in, you know? But I'm just saying that in all, it's about a give and take. When you rise to your purpose, it's because you've always reached across and given a hand up to the next person. Not saved a hole or help somebody, but a hand up. And so I think everything you said is absolutely right. I agree with it. But I also agree you got to stop sometimes before you exit the room, the family, the tribe, because you feel like they're not up to par with you. Take one last sweep around and look, because there's always somebody that just needs that one boost that maybe we did. And me, it's just, now I'm not Captain Save-A-Hole, but I'm just saying the platforms we provide is for people to utilize tools and to share them back with the rest of the tribe so that we all grow together. So I guess what I'm saying is I agree with you.
What are you saying?
But I also see another side.
No, and you're right. You're absolutely right. It's not about getting, when people transform their lives in the beginning, when they start to really learn about themselves, there is this piece of us that wants to purge. We were talking about purging yesterday in the clubhouse. There's a piece that wants to get rid of everybody around us because we just don't want to be reminded of who we were. So we're like, I got to make these big changes in my life. And then you're like, I don't want to be reminded. So you push people away. And we were talking about this yesterday, that's you have to be careful about pushing away right away. First, learn more about yourself. Take a step back. If you feel that other people are getting in the way of your growth by things that they're saying or actions that they're taking, then learn very quickly how to disconnect from them, but still be in their presence. Because you're right, maybe they do have something to offer, or maybe you just don't need to get rid of them. You just need to create better boundaries.
Or maybe you think you're too better than anybody because you raised a couple notches and you don't need nobody and you need a reality check. That's why I stay even across the board. And I'm going to give you the story. Today, mi gente, help me wish my son a happy 31st birthday. Robert.
Happy birthday, Robert.
And my son is a walking canvas. He has tattoos all over, beautiful tattoos. And, you know, he's done a lot of stuff. Insulation was his favorite, insulating buildings and all of that. So I know, because it's come back to me, how everybody thought because I raised him in Bridgeport, because he's a walking canvas, because I raised my kids to be no nonsense, that he would be a person who would be in trouble with the law, probably on drugs and everything. And so people like stepped away. I'm fine with that because I know what I created. And look, he's part business owner to New York City Exotic Snacks. They own a store in the Bronx, in Queens, in Palisades Mall. This Friday, they're opening one in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. They already secured a location in New Jersey, and they visited Atlanta. So never judge a person because of what you see or where they come from, because the magic is in all of us.
That's right.
And it's, don't keep hanging, you know, with people who drink their days away, and then just come up to give their poor ass opinions. But if you can like guide them in the right way, do that and then move on. But I think we all grow because of a tribe we've either shared in or observed and say, oh, I want to try that. Let me try that. And I think it's our own willpower within to want to be better. And you need to purge people who are sucking the life out of you, who are abusing you, taking your kindness for weakness, who just don't want to do anything for themselves. So they're leeching off of you. Absolutely. Cut them off. Cut.
Well, so I want to, so Susan wrote a couple of things. So she said, when you're the top 5% in the world of educated people, it's hard to find rooms smart enough. The question is that what are we judging smartness?
Exactly.
What are we judging intelligence? Because I've met some people that are not book smart, but are incredibly knowledgeable and insightful. So there will always be somebody smarter, even with those people who are like the top intellects of the world. The person shining shoes can be very, they can learn something from that individual. So, and then she wrote to not disconnect, but enhance communication with them to break the pattern. Absolutely. Enhancing communication is absolutely a fabulous idea because we can all learn from each other. We can learn more as we are transforming our lives. That individual can learn more. And what I meant by disconnect, meaning what you just said, Gladiator Guru, that if they're interfering with your growth, if they are making things really hard for you, you have to disconnect. That's where boundaries come in. And I'm thinking along the lines of like people who are very toxic, like narcissistic type of individuals where they
don't want to see you grow.
They don't, right? Exactly. And in the beginning, it's hard to notice that. There's especially if you've been in a narcissistic relationship and you have narcissistic abuse, you do want to push everybody away because you're so trying to find yourself. So what Gladiator Guru was saying is, don't push too many people away, but find that zone where you can protect yourself, but still not necessarily move on and say, I'm better than all of you. But there might be a point where there are people that you will just have to.
You have to. That's life. That's the balance of life. You need darkness so that you can appreciate and value the light in your life. So you're going to need those naysayers, which let's just say they're family because you're intertwined with them for life, right? You can walk away, but they're still family. But we need that sort of kind of, darkness, that covering of the moon every now and again, so that when we do see the light, we know exactly what we want. Everybody needs that. That's called balance. You don't.
D wrote, I started snipping at 30. Now I'm 59. I am so free.
Yeah. And thank you, Carmen, for your compliment. So you don't cut them off, Arlene. What you do is they're going to always be in your ear, but it's their insecurities, their fear, because they don't want to push themselves to move forward. So they hold you back so that you don't. Because if you move forward, you're going to make them, you're going to, like the Wizard of Oz when they pull the curtain, and you're going to show them for what they really are, lazy, with no ambition in life. And then they're judgmental and jealous. And Badass Buddha, you're right. Sometimes the smartest people, the top of businesses, they're miserable. They don't have happiness because they can't trust anybody. And some of them carry a lot of malice because they feel like everybody's out to get the success that they've achieved. So really, that shoe shining person in the corner that's going to shine that $1 million man's shoes is the happiest because he gets up every morning with a purpose and he meets people and he gets to speak people of all walks of life all day. So sometimes you also got to balance your life. What's more important to me? And I think be successful. Go out into the world and be successful and be smart and lead a room to be at their sharpest, and then you exit and you go to the next room. And I think that's what makes us rich and smart, is knowing that we are here and we didn't get there alone. We did not get to whatever etapa in our life alone. There's always people surrounding us, whether they're the quiet ones that just applaud us or the ones that say, you got this, badass Buddha, go ahead, do it. So I think the smartest person in the room is the person that can appreciate everybody at the level they're at. So the smartest person, go ahead.
Alicia, sorry, honey, I didn't mean to cut you off. So Alicia wrote, so Arlene Gonzalez wrote, how do you cut them off if they're family? And then Gwen Lord said, and you have to live with them. So we'll talk about that in a second, because it's not about, like you said, you started that conversation. It's not about cutting them off, but you do need to distance. And it's not easy when they live with you. When they're in and out, you can separate. just not avoid, but you don't be in their presence as much. But Alicia said, I'm at a point I feel stuck. My mind races day in and out, and I need guidance in pushing forward. And so Susan writes, balance is overrated. Einstein was not balanced. Anyone who does anything great puts everything they've got into it. Well, and that's the rub. A lot of people believe, they're always talking about work-life balance. But one thing we know about the body's always trying to be in balance, but in order to be in balance, the body has to counterbalance itself all the time. So it's always tweaking itself. Like if it moves a little to the left, it pushes itself a little bit to the right, always trying to get absolute balance. So like when somebody stands in a yoga pose, like let's say they're standing in the tree pose where they put their foot up onto the one leg.
I love that pose. That's the one pose I could do with no problem.
That's when we see people do it really well, they're standing still and you're thinking, oh my gosh, they're in such great balance. But what you don't see are the little micro movements of their muscles and their legs pushing and pulling back and forth very short, very tightly to keep that standing leg still. And the rest of their body, of their core body, doing that, most muscles pushing and pulling. You see it when they're not good at it because you see their leg doing this. But the more they do it and the stronger they get, their muscles become tighter and stronger and there's smaller pushes and pulls. But that's life. Our life is a constant counterbalance.
Well, yeah, that's why I said that's the one I can do good. But I agree. I'm not a balanced person. Anybody who knows that, what I said was with the darkness and the light is a balance. Because you cannot see the good in life unless you've experienced the darkness. Balance is will ever be in balance in life. So I agree with you, Susan.
So Alicia, she's feeling stuck. So let's talk about this. We're talking about loving ourselves and learning ourselves. So if your mind is racing every single day, Alicia, this is a really good indicator that you need to take a breath. Why did I know Luis was going to say something? I'm taking my jacket off and I'm going, in my head, I'm going, should I say that? That's for Luis. And he goes, love the pearls. He's so funny. So what I'm saying is that if your mind is racing, it's a good indicator that you have got to take a pause, that you are not giving yourself the space to reconnect with yourself. So you've got to take moments, whether you do it first thing in the morning when you get up, when you do it at night, or anytime during the day, or all of the above. But you've got to sit still and you've got to be still and you've got to go inward and allow yourself to just be, not think, just be. And you could start by just being present and breathing and just focus on your breath. What is that going to do? It's going to do something. It might not do something in that moment, but it at least will relax you. But it's got to be done. And, I was teaching a mindfulness class yesterday. Oh my God, it was so nice to teach class in person yesterday. I have not taught a class in a room with people in over a year. And it was so nice to actually be with people. And I was teaching a mindfulness class and we were talking about that. And we were talking about we did it. And so I was having them in the midst of it, like we got to a certain point in the conversation and they said, okay, everybody just take a breath in and let's just do this for 2 minutes. And people were just already feeling better with just closing their eyes and breathing. And so that, again, that racing is your body's telling you to slow down. Your spirit is telling you to slow down. And I'm done talking. Go ahead, Gladiator Guru.
Aisha, you are fantastic. You're going through a lot of changes right now. So and everything that she just advised is awesome. I don't know. I lost my train of thought when I got cut off.
I'm sorry.
So anyway, anyone else does?
Well, you were talking
wait,
about
let's get back to Susan. Yeah, because I want to get back to Susan.
You were talking about balance.
So she says anyone who does anything great puts everything they've got into it. Yes, in order for us to succeed, we have to stay focused on it. And the Huffington Post did say balance is overrated. But I think each individual considers a balanced life on their terms. And yeah, what is balance? We can't balance on a beam unless we're practiced all our lives, and who the hell, we don't have left anything else for that. So I think the best you can do is whatever works for you. Put everything you've got into you, because I can't suggest. I'm a writer, but yet I don't journal. But there's people who journal throughout the day, and it makes all the difference at the end of their evening, right? So I think go forward with however life balances well for you, but get to know yourself, because if you learn the alchemy of your true human self and you feed your spirit and it guides, you open your pathway to where your life is supposed to be, then you put everything you've got into it. And that, my darlings, is balance to each individual.
Lovely.
So I think that's true. So yeah. But Alicia, and who was the other one? Arlene?
Right.
What do you say for Arlene?
How do you cut them off if they're how do you cut them off if they're family? And then Gwen said, what if you live with them? You know, we've talked about this before. You know, it depends on how toxic they are. If they're very toxic, then you've got to cut them off. I mean, like it's if it's really interfering with your spirit, then and I know I've had to do it. Like I've done it to a very close family member of mine. He just is not somebody that I mean, at one time it was a beautiful situation. You know, it was I looked up to this individual and really appreciated all the information that he supplied to me and got me on my journey. But as I gained insight, I realized that this individual is actually quite toxic for me. And I made the choice to stay away. And so that's the way it has to be. And I don't regret my decision whatsoever. I don't say any ill will towards the individual, and I don't really care if they say any ill will towards me. But it's just that was my choice because of how I feel about it. And I don't see it ever changing anytime soon, because I don't think this individual is capable of change, because there's no accountability on his end. But I'm okay with that. And if I, you know, I see the person periodically because they're family, but I don't have really much contact. And if I never saw the person again, it really wouldn't bother me. It sounds really cruel to say that, but family is just you were born into family. That's just the way it came out. You know, we can't pick family, you know. Have you ever met somebody that you were friends with that just you connected beyond a family connection? And you were like, my God, I feel like we've known each other for years. I feel like you're the sister from another mister, like all those expressions. So, and yet we could be so close to those people and then be completely different than family members. So I think we get hung up on social stigma. Don't you think, Gladiator, when it comes to stuff like that?
I think so. And, you know, I liked what you said. And if you can elaborate, just so that others can understand, you said you don't wish any ill will, nor do you care if they say anything like negative to you and all of that. And how do you get there? To not care, you know, not wish any ill will to someone, but that it won't bother you if things are said about you, and how you won't say anything negative because you know within you it's just how it is. But how does someone get there without the stress or releasing all the energy of frustration and irritation when they see them?
Well, and that will answer. So things like Maritza saying, good morning, Maritza, by the way.
Good morning, Maritza.
It's hard to do when you love the person. Yes, that's true. So it was easier for me because I detached that piece of it. And I'll explain that in a second without sounding like I'm a total bitch.
No, but that's what
and
people
then
need to
Gwen
hear.
said, if I could afford to live by myself, I would leave with the shirt on my back. Absolutely. Of course, Gwen, you know, and that's the reality. Sometimes you cannot change the situation, the actual situation, or maybe you can, because there's some people that believe that the fact that we're still in it, and I'm partially into this, I'm not going to get into detail on that myself. At some point in the near future, I will. But when we still stay and we believe that I can't do this on my own because I can't financially afford to do this, we stay stuck, and that perpetuates the inability to afford to do it, instead of opening up the space to maybe saying, hey, you know what? Maybe I could get a roommate that I have they're just helping to pay the bills, and get rid of this person that's toxic to me. So that opens that possibility. So when your question is how do you do that when how do you do that? You have to really, again, this is about what we're talking about today, is loving yourself. First of all, you have to decide that you want to fight for yourself, that you want to give yourself that love and appreciation, and then learn what works for you. You know, whether it's like meditation or just going out for a walk or, I don't know, distracting yourself. But little by little, you will just let it go. And it's not, how long it takes, I don't know. It just depends on the individual. That you just, I think when you say to yourself, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with not having a relationship with that person. I'm okay with like, what would it do for me if I did stay? What would it do for me if I didn't? The other piece is that I don't have to worry about is I don't have people coming around me saying things like, how could you do that? You know, this is your relative and blah, blah, blah. And if they do, I probably I would ignore it at this point in time.
But would you ignore it without getting upset that they're even telling you not to feel that way? That's because I think you're already at that point, no? Where it doesn't bother you, anybody's opinions. And because you are feeding your spirit with love so that you know what works for you and doesn't work for you. That's why I think it was very important for you to share that in your words. So I'm sorry, go right ahead. You have to love them. Okay. You don't hate them or wish them death or anything.
No.
You just know that their energy and yours cannot survive in the same room, because then it's going to spark off other negativities. It's going to drain you, and it's unnecessary because they're in your life for the rest of your life, to your last breath or their last breath. So you have to figure out what works best for the humans involved, and that would be exactly how you're explaining it.
But you have to also think of it too, that when we honor ourselves, we also honor other people, whether they understand that or not.
Absolutely.
So if you so like, for instance, some of the conversation that's coming up is that, you know, you're saying, if you really love if the person you love the person, like the Edith wrote, but if you love them with all your heart, you can never love somebody enough to get them to be the best version of themselves. Like, it's just not going to happen. They have to be willing to change. And when you're dealing, especially with a narcissistic individual, they're only going to change with what suits themselves. And that right there will drain you. So I honor myself by keeping certain people at a distance or pushing them out of my life.
Yeah.
And it's not dishonoring by people on the outside at that. Why is that dishonoring? Because, again, I'm not wishing them ill will. I'm not saying I want them to die. Or talking trash about them. I just keep quiet about it, generally speaking. And then when somebody says like, oh, well, you know, I wish you would just get along. And it's like, for who though? For
who? Thank you.
For that person. That's making the request.
Yeah, because they don't want to be uncomfortable.
That's exactly right. And life is too short. Because if we did that and we said, okay, I'm just going to do this for so-and-so, because that's what I was hearing in the beginning. I just want you to get along until I die. So if I say I'm just going to do this for so-and-so, that's dishonoring to me, just to make the other person comfortable. So I just stay quiet about it. I don't talk about the other person to the one that's uncomfortable with it. And when this person talks to me about that other person, I just listen. So that's loving myself, I've learned what I need for myself. And it took me a really long time to do that. And I've dishonored myself way too much in my life to want to keep doing that anymore. And as a result, I don't have depression anymore, because that's what I did for years. I dishonored myself. And that's where the depression was really coming from. Is that where all depression comes from? No, but for me, it did. And it's made a huge difference. And
you found your balance to stay away from that. And that's beautiful.
Yes. And the balance that you said, you're talking about balance of your spirit, of your soul, because that's where I feel that we are out of balance. When we're talking about work-life balance, that's just the icing.
We have a show on that coming up, don't we? A specialist speaking on work.
But it's just like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
If you're trying to look for work-life balance, look more inward. So go to the inside of the cake. That's
all I talk about. about inquiring within. My when I
Absolutely.
speak about feeding your spirit so that it can nurture your body. People want to take care of their body and not feed their spirit. Then they're walking around like a fucking idiot savant. Don't blame me for that. Feed you. You have to inquire within. You have to talk to yourself about a decision. Your gut's going to tell you which way to go. And if you ask 50 people for the advice of what you should do, guess what's going to happen? You're always going to go with what your gut tells you to. So
Right.
absolutely. And go ahead, continue, because I think this is so important, especially for those. Marina says, that's what I used to do without realizing that I was looking to make me happy.
Yep.
And look at what happens is when you reach a point that we're still breathing, walking, talking, smelling, hearing. I mean, that's a miracle. People are like, I don't believe in miracle. You are a miracle. Every time you wake up, you can listen to the birds singing. You can smell the fresh grass or the flowers blooming now that it's spring. You can see the beautiful colors of the flowers in the trees. And you can feel by going and hugging a tree. Like, that's a miracle. How many people cannot get up out of bed? How many people cannot see, cannot hear, cannot speak? We are walking miracles every day. So, yes, Marina, the reason I wanted the Badass Buddha to share that story, because it is beautiful. It talks about her loving herself enough to know that she doesn't need to upset the people around her with her decision. Her decision is hers. And by honoring herself, her thoughts and her decisions, she's honoring the people around her and just not making any waves. And that's how you don't need to cut people off, but you just respect yourself and honor yourself enough to say, oh, I got to make a Yui right now. I forgot I have something to do. And not bring any of that resentment with you. Go ahead.
So Desiree writes, it was a big part of my depression as well, being involved with people who were unhealthy for me to be with, family included. Boundaries was not something I was taught properly growing up. Me either. In my family, to this day, my parents are still alive, although my dad cognitively is not well. But my mom, I mean, boundaries have always been an issue. And there was always a sense of entitlement with certain individuals in the family. And it was, that's the thing that, when you grow up that way and then you discover for yourself that boundaries are really important for you. And then the individuals come back in your life and they have no boundaries and they impose the way that they always were with you. Then it becomes, almost like a little bit of a territorial battle, where you get a little puffy and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm not putting up with this crap. But then you calm it down, because then you say, okay, all I need to do is make it very clear how what is important to me. And again, that comes into play the moment that you say, I love myself. Like, I love myself. This is what's important to me. This is what I will, this is what I will, this is what I want. This is what I don't want. And then there's somewhere in the middle where you say, this is what I'm willing to tolerate. And I'm not a big fan of that word, because tolerating, you can teeter very easily from the negative to the positive. Like, you can easily be putting up with stuff that you really don't want to. So you have to be really mindful with tolerating stuff, and then check in with yourself all the time. Am I still okay with tolerating that piece, or am I ready to say, I don't think so anymore?
No más, no más, no más.
Right.
And if that's the only word you use when you finally make that decision to remove yourself, then say it, and say it con ganas. No más. And walk away. That would release all that pent up, like, ugh, and that frustration. No más. I write about that in my book. That's one word that I love. No más. Instead of telling them exactly. So yes, that's perfect. And Desiree writes, entitlements. Yes, the boys were always different. The girls had to clean, wash, cook, couldn't have friends over, no boys friends. The boys at the same age didn't have to do none of that, and they could have 3 girls calling the house, and the parents say, hey, he's such a lover boy. And so the boys and I can only speak for the Puerto Rican household. Yes, they were very mimado. They didn't have to do any chores. They can go out. They got allowance. And we were like freaking slaves and had to do everything with no kind of freedom. We couldn't go out with friends to the mall. We couldn't have friends spend the night. We couldn't talk to boys on the phone. So a lot of the older generation really has caused a lot of trickle effects into the partners that are forming now, or the husbands that are on their way out. And because you can't replace their mom, and they've already been brainwashed on a certain, well, you have to do this. You have to cut the crust around my sandwich.
Susan says you're talking about 100 years ago. Not quite.
Oh, no.
Puerto Rican families are very, still almost to this day, there's a lot of them are very, the boys have, they get away with a lot of stuff, and the girls not so much. I mean, I grew up in that household, and so, Italian American families were very much like that as well. The boys definitely had more freedom than the girls. So it really isn't that long ago. And, and it takes change, it just takes us awareness, to make the changes, to say, okay, so if I didn't know proper boundaries, what are important boundaries for me now? What is okay to say? What is not okay to say? I love my mom. I mean, my mom is a wonderful individual, but I'm also very specific about the things that I share with her, because my mom is like the town crier. My mother will turn around and tell it, even if you say, Mom, don't say anything, she'll tell somebody, and it's like, if you don't want things to be said,
hold water. You can't hold water.
That's right. And so, and I, instead of getting mad about it, that's just who she is. So I mean, I used to fight it. I'd be like, how could you have said this? Blah, blah, blah. And I was that person too. So I'm not even going to let myself off of that. My sister would say, don't say anything. And I would say it. So once I decided that for me was an honoring thing to do, that I don't want to be that person, I also had to understand that other people were that way, and I couldn't dishonor, like I couldn't get mad at them and say, you have to change. If I'm telling you something, I just said, I can't tell that to that person. Like I can't share that with them. And that made me love myself more, to know that I had control about what I did and what information came out and how I react, how I responded. And then I learned that not everybody is where I am. And I'm not saying I'm better. I'm not saying I'm at a higher echelon. I'm a higher level thinker. I'm just saying they're not where I am. And this is what's important to me. It's maybe not important to my mother to keep things in, and that's her, but that's not me. So it's about that self-awareness comes in the moment you say, you know what, I'm going to love myself a little bit more today. And what am I going to learn about myself? What is working for me? What do I love about myself? What is it that I don't like about myself? So what I don't like means that I need to change it in some way. And there's your starting point, because you have to start somewhere. You can't know what needs to change in your life if you don't face what needs to be changed.
Yeah, you have to unfuck yourself on every subject.
I'm gonna write that. You have to
unfuck yourself and stop judging, having expectations and assumptions of how everybody else should behave, how they should think, and do research. If you don't know something and you're hearing certain things, research. It is your responsibility to be knowledgeable and have sabiduría, because you want to learn. So do research on it. Don't just read one article and believe that that's it. And then that's how you learn to love yourself, by feeding your spirit and nourishing your body the right way, because we talked about that yesterday as well. And then, you know what? And accept people at the level they're at. And then you decide, am I going to be around or accept them? Because people have to accept you at where you're at. Maritza suggested a book. She says, Susan O'Doherty, Getting Unstuck Without Becoming Unglued. Awesome. That is awesome.
Yes, and Linda backs it up. Linda McBee says that's a good book. And
okay,
and then Susan writes, Susan, we love all the banter. Like Susan's really writing a lot of stuff today. I'm not the keeper of the secret. There's inherent shame in secret keeping. You know what? I think that when
so do I.
But I think when someone decides that they want to confide something in you, that you can make it very clear. You could say, I'm not really comfortable with that. But if they need to, like they need to say, listen, there's something that I'm not willing to say to people, but I have to say to somebody. keeping a secret also, though, is very honoring to an individual. I always look at it this way, that if somebody decides to confide something in me, I usually make it really clear. Listen, is this something that is going to affect people that I know, that if I keep it, that, because I'll say, I don't want to know, like, and I'll filter it out a little bit. But if it's something that they feel that they need to say, and if it's something that I don't agree with after they tell me, I will say, listen, I won't say anything, but you need to say. Like if they said, oh, I just want to tell you that I'm cheating on my husband. It's like, I'm going to say, I don't really want to know that. And you need to say something. But if they say, I'm dying and I don't want to say anything just yet, that's a different thing. And I don't like telling people secrets, because I always, or even news, when somebody shares news with you and say, oh, they didn't say, don't say anything. They just shared the news and then they went on their way. I often say this, it's not my story to tell. So like if somebody says, oh, well, did so-and-so tell you? And I'll say, yeah. And they say, well, why didn't you tell me? Say, well, it's not my story to tell. They told me, that's their story. So let them tell whoever they want to tell. It's not my story to share. Unless they said, go ahead and tell everybody, then I'll be like, okay, that's fine. But if they just share something with me, and I see both sides, I do, because you're right. If it's something that you really don't want to know and they share with you, and you're like, telling me that keeps me dishonoring somebody else, like that's not a good trade-off for me.
It depends. It depends. If it's a secret and you don't want nobody to know, then I don't want to know. Because I'm an opinionated motherfucker. So if you're going to tell me something and then you're like, but don't say nothing, then you don't need to tell me, because I'm going to let you know if you're doing, if it's right or wrong in my eyes. So I think, yeah. But, some things we do keep. Some things we do respect people. It depends what it is, I think. But before we leave, because it is 9:00, I just want to let everybody know, May 6th, I am having a live book reading and book signing at 1123 Main Street. My flyer should be up today with the details. It's at the Collab. So if you already have a book, but it's not signed, come on down. If you already have an autographed copy, come on down and listen to me read it live and give it some sazon so that you can feel my words better. There'll be some art there as well. So it's 1123 Main Street on May 6th at 6:30, I believe. And there'll be some surprises as well. So if you already have a book and it's autographed, then bring somebody who doesn't, It's
and are you going to go live? Are you going to do like a live?
Yeah, you are. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. Viva Cafe con Leche will be live.
That's great. No, that's fabulous.
And they'll be interviewing. Viva will be interviewing people in between the breaks, in between the read, before the actual book reading. So it's going to be, you know what? You're going to have Las Damas de Viva Cafe con Leche present and active. So let's make this a big family thing and be there. Yes. And that's it. That's
all right.
it.
And thank you, everybody.
Yes. Jonathan was on. Jonathan, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm the best kept secret, Jonathan says. And Linda McBee and everybody, Chanel, that I didn't get to say hi because this conversation was deep. Thank you for all coming on and sharing all your comments with us and getting involved. Badass Buddha, thank you for sharing that story, which is very personal. And we'll see you Thursday.
Yes, Karen Sammer on the Heart of the Matter. So thank you, everybody, and take care. Share. Don't forget.
Thank you, Marina Maritza. Oh, go ahead. You're not going to say your closing.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it was almost ending without that. Oh, my goodness. Yes, everybody. Thank you, Gladiator Buddha, for reminding me. And from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, remember to breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Namaste, everyone. Bye.